everyone can join in. We're going to say a few words.
Say loud.
The Golden Rule has arrived, and I have one gift. And normally you get the key to the city, but I thought I'd get an organic onion. This is the big onion. Before it was the Big Apple. It's organic, and it's probably from California, which the boat comes from. So I thought, who's the chef? And anyway, so Captain Steve.
Thank you. I'm going to take this onion to the sandwich maker.
Oh, thanks!
We love onion sandwiches.
We do. And I'm going to give it to the other onion holder who cherishes and holds onions dear, Mr. Wren.
Okay, Mr. Wren. You can encase this, anything you want to do with it. But I think the Native Americans that were here in Mannahatta would have loved this spirit coming to the shores very much. They would have welcomed, they do welcome, I hope you feel it. We will have a Native American at one of our gatherings, but for sure, this kind of spirit, this kind of bravery, this kind of courage, this kind of wisdom is really welcomed by those of this land and by this city. So we are really nourished by you, Wren, and Captain Steve, and Mary Ann, and Helen, and Jerry, and Tarak, and everyone up there. We are truly honored that this boat has made this journey. I still have very vivid feelings of when the Golden Rule, when it was first mentioned in Susan Schnall's, Susan's, and we were in her apartment with Tarak, and someone mentioned that the Golden Rule is thinking about maybe making a trip, about this trip around the Great Loop. And the three of us lit up like, that would be great. And there were complaints from others not in our room that this would cost a lot of money. And this would, but we said, no, this is the spirit of this thing. And this brings us much more than any money could possibly bring us. So it is that spirit that we really felt 3-4 years ago, right, Susan? And we're just, it's amazing that it has come here now. We totally embrace and thank you very much. I'm going on too much. Just one last thing. There's many other things. We'll have much time to talk. But I think of Hiroshima right now. I think of those that were yearning for water, who were dying, and for those who survived, that came to New York City in the 70s by the plane loads, handing me and many people in New York City on the streets paper cranes. This is 40 years ago, saying, please do something. Have your country do something about nuclear weapons. Well, this boat in 1958 offered their lives for this, and I am so proud to know the Veterans for Peace who have taken this up and have offered their lives for us. So just thank you, and I just welcome those spirits. So yeah, welcome to New York City.
Step away from the side.
The managers.
Oh, let's hear from Susan Schnall, President of Veterans for Peace.
Welcome, everybody. It is just wonderful, extraordinary, Helen and Jerry, and everybody who's been involved in bringing the Golden Rule to New York and on the Great Loop. You provided us in Veterans for Peace with an inspiration and a drive towards abolishing nuclear weapons and for peace, and I'll just say it again and again, for peace in the world and for justice for everybody in the world. We as veterans feel that responsibility to keep everything going and to stop nuclear armaments and to have this be a peaceful world for everybody. So thank you all for being with us. Thank you. Thank you.
the crew. I could say something. Well, I'm Ren Jacob. I've been honored to be the first mate on this boat. I believe it's for the second or third time now that I've gotten to fill that role. And I just want to say something about the boat. You know, the personality of the boat, the energy. She always absorbs negativity for me, and so that's been very important. Every time I come here, I can lay down a lot of the problems that I carry.
Folks, just for our photo op, if everybody would move towards the stern so we can get a clear view of the banner, we'd very much appreciate it. So if everyone would step towards the stern, around the flag with Susan.
When we're done with the ceremony, you can get the stuff.
We'd like that now, if you don't mind. If you just step towards the stern, just step towards the stern and we can get the shot. Thank you.
No idea that it's a new...
Step down this way. Thank you very much. Okay.
Oh, I was just saying about the personality of the boat and how she's very supportive, and she'll carry your best sentiments, and she'll take care of your worst fears, and she's very strong, you know, in rough weather and rough conditions. You know that she's there. You might not be comfortable. You might not find the going well. You know, voyage is going well, but she'll be fine. She's been through much worse conditions than you're likely to face. So I appreciate that about the presence of the boat and just being able to be with it. And so I take that with me when I leave.
Following what Ren said, and I feel that this boat, when this boat was created and when it first sailed towards the Marshall Islands, there was a vision, and that vision and that spirit of that boat has continued, and it has gone through many obstacles, and you know, it has gone through obstacles of how are we going to do this? How are we going to afford this? How are we going to do this? How are we going to do that? But the vision propelled the spirit of this boat on. And I think the spirit of this boat manifests the anti-nuclear message more than anything. This little boat sailing all over says it for humanity. You know, in a humble way, says, stop nuclear, stop this madness. And I'm so proud of all the people that are involved in it. Well, Veterans for Peace who's supporting it, all the people, Helen, Jerry, Captain, Mary, Ren, everybody is just tremendous. But there is a spirit in this boat, a real spirit. And that spirit is following a vision. And that vision is not yet completed. And when nuclear weapons are abolished, then we can rest. So I thank you all. It's so profound what you're doing.
Well, I want to say that getting this boat here took a tremendous amount of work by a lot of people, and the people are represented here and up on the stand there. But there's so many people behind us who brought this boat here at this moment, and I want to thank them.
Mary Ann Ventura, Minnesota. I went to a powwow, met Veterans for Peace Chapter 25, and the captain of the boat at that time, and they said, we're going to take the boat down the Mississippi River. And I said, oh, cool. Yeah. So at one point, I had a dream to boat down the river, and I wasn't able to, and it turned out that I had a little bit of time, and they accepted me on the boat as crew. I've been on boat for 5 months and met a lot of people in the middle of the country and here on the East Coast. Every time we stop at a different place, we create ripples. People start to hear what happened before the boat arrived here, right? nothing major happens, just small conversations and short events. But people are talking about nuclear for 5 minutes. That is where we start right now, isn't it? People are hesitant, they don't understand it. That's where we start. I'm very grateful to be able to be a witness and to meet people along the way. It is no small thing that we are all together. So I'm privileged to be here, and we hope for more on this journey.
Let's hear from Project Manager Helen Jacquard.
Go Helen! Go Helen! Well, just like what Steve was saying, we've had thousands of volunteers working on this boat and hundreds of people crew. So there's nothing that I can do that's any more special than what everybody else has been doing. There's just so many of you doing all this work. Now, I think we're getting into a very special time because we've just been in the Baltimore Sun twice and the Philadelphia Inquirer. I'm wondering if we're going to make it into the New York Times.
The old great lady.
But the thing about what Marianne has said about starting with these small conversations, it's no longer just small, short conversations. It's getting to the attention of people, and the public is starting to learn that there's people like us out here who want to get rid of nuclear weapons. Yay! Yeah. So let's just keep on going and keep on doing it and run our program, and pretty soon we're going to find out that people are thinking about getting rid of nuclear weapons. There we go.
And I'll just say briefly that we are here not just in the Big Apple or the Big Onion, New York City, but also we're in the home of the United Nations. We're going to be sailing by the United Nations at some point. We even have some meetings with some of the UN missions. And of course we're sailing in support of the UN Treaty on the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons and trying to build pressure on the U.S. government and all the other nuclear nations to actually sign that treaty and to begin the process of abolishing all nuclear weapons. And so we're really excited that we can be in support of that treaty. We're actually going to be meeting with the Mexican mission to the UN next week, and Mexico is hosting the next States Party meeting for the Treaty on the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons. So we'll be having discussions with them about what we, as U.S. residents, as members of Veterans for Peace and the Golden Rule, can do to help boost support in this country and internationally for the treaty and for abolishing all nuclear weapons. So thank you all for being here in support of that important issue. Once we give you a few flyers, you can share them with the interested friends.
You can always send people to vfpgoldenrule.org, and there's a full schedule of New York and New Jersey events are there, and there's also some posts with events from future stops in Connecticut. We'll get everything posted as soon as the flyers are available for each individual city. We have about 50 cities still to go, so we're about halfway through.
Wow. When you leave here, when you leave New York on the 26th, we'll be headed to Connecticut or Long Island, then we'll be making 4 stops in Connecticut. We'll be moving right up the coast. We're going to sail all the way up to above Portland, Maine, up to Bath, Maine, where they build warships. And we're going to be then sail back down to New York City, arriving here approximately the 4th of July, I think.
That's right.
And we're going to go into the Hudson River, up through the Hudson. We're going to be meeting with the Clearwater
and the sailing vessel Woody Guthrie.
And then we'll be going through the Erie Canal, through the
Oswego
Canal, into the Great Lakes, over to Toronto, back to Detroit, Milwaukee,
we're going to be in Chicago in September. That may be the last stop on this tour. It'll have been 13 months and 11,000 miles.